When you think of pivotal first-person shooters that started it all, one big name comes to mind. Well, that's not what we're talking about today, although our game today does have a lot to do with that. CHEX QUEST, developed by Digital Cafe and released in 1996 through the CHEX cereal brand. Marketing. I can think of many times a shoveled-out game slapped with a logo of some well-known product or brand somehow found its way into my greasy mitts as a kid. And that's a sweat problem. But I usually don't sweat those marketing games because, well, they tend to suck. They're usually a cheap cash-in to promote or make a little extra money off you, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, face it, sometimes it does in fact work. I mean, nothing screams balanced breakfast more than a CD-ROM filled with shooting enemies, nothing to do about eating healthy, and 50 free hours of America Online. I mean, shit, 50 free hours? How to be young again. Just don't go spending all those hours in one place, alright? And yes, I did play this as a kid, and not once did I feel the unusual desire to eat some Chex Mix during my playthrough or anything. But anyways, back to the game itself. What is it? Is it another cheap handout? Well, holy freaking monkey tits. This game actually doesn't suck. And that's more or less due to the fact that, yes, as you can see, this is a complete Doom overhaul. This game is Doom, and Doom is this game. Just, this is all wrapped up in a family-friendly morning meal aesthetic. So if you played Doom, you've played this. Therefore, the gameplay is pretty much self-explanatory. The typical shoot those, find the keys, go through the doors, and exit the level. Etc., rinse, repeat. Pretty much every screen is straight ripped from Doom. Like the in-level screen and the menu screen. Although there is no between-level map screen like the other games of this ilk for some reason. And that's not much of a concern unless you like looking at pixelated versions of a building that looks nothing like the map you're about to play. Now for the game's story, and yes, there's a story, and no, it's not important at all, but oh well, here we go. You are the Chex Warrior, and apparently some shit went down on the planet Bazoik. Yes, Bazoik, the peaceful mining planet, and I quote, renowned for its quality nutritional products. Okay, so my cereal comes from another galaxy according to Digital Cafe, but let's continue. Basically, some scientists from the Intergalactic Federation of Cereals did what every milk-headed government does in these sci-fi scenarios, found a foreign species, took it back to study, blah blah blah, and now these boogers called phlemoids, well, they wanna, well, I'm not sure what they want to do besides eat nutritional foods. Like, I feel like there's no winning for these things. That they're just looking for food to survive, and I'm systematically getting rid of them from my General Mills employers. But hey, live and let spoon. Yes, spoon. Let's talk about the weapons, because that story was far too interesting, and we could talk about it forever. There are no guns. Well, they are guns, but they are called Zorchers. That way, you can play Doom just like your big brother without getting that annoying "you're too young to play that shit" talk from mom. Apparently, when you Zorch a booger, they are nicely teleported back to their dimension. So no, you are not killing them, but who cares? You get to shoot stuff just for eating breakfast, and did you forget about that 50 free hours of AOL already? Kids these days. The weapons span the typical Doom loadout. In fact, they are the same, just reskinned like everything else in this game. You know, you got your pistol, your shotgun, your chain gun, an unsatisfying rocket launcher, plasma gun, the BFG type weapon called the AZD or Area Zorching Device, the fist, and the chainsaw, which is the most badass spork I've ever seen in a 90s game involving cereal and boogers. 10 out of 10. But regardless, the game has 5 levels of action-packed mucus blasting from a spaceport, to a laboratory, to the Great Bazoik itself, all the way to the final fight, the wall. Now I know the main boss in Doom 2 is a wall, but he was at least hard, and this is not. And speaking of hard, I would highly recommend playing on the Gobs of Goo or higher difficulty, unless you like walking around hardly doing anything in your shooters. To each his own. The music is actually quite catchy, at least in my opinion, but that's if you're down to listen to that good old Sound Blaster magic on repeat. The sound effects are pretty spot on and fit the game. but not to the Doom level of satisfaction, obviously. But I don't know how epic teleporting someone away can sound compared to blasting them apart with a rocket, but hey, they tried. All in all, CHEX QUEST is an obscure little game from the 90s that I remember fondly and has gained quite a cult following over the years, still being modded and fan updated to this very day. In fact, a year later in 1997, Digital Cafe released CHEX QUEST 2 for free download on its website, followed up 11 years later in 2008 with CHEX QUEST 3 by the original art director and lead artist Charles Jacoby. So if you want to play this game right now, well, you can. It's free and it's actually very easy to find all 3 games for download online. Just make sure you have a source port such as ZDoom to run all the WADs, which is also free. Now, for the original CD, well, that's a bit harder to find, although I've seen more on eBay recently running for about 20 bucks. So if physical copies are your thing, then go for it. Although sadly, I don't think those 50 free hours of AOL are still valid. So sorry, no surfing the interwebs for free QuickTime clips, but hey, this game was one of the very few successes at marketing a product with a video game, increasing sales over 200% and winning 2 awards in marketing excellence. And I think that's a success worth mentioning and remembering. Cereal. It can be healthy, it can come in different shapes and sizes, made of different things, and yes, even contain a good video game once in a while. Thanks for watching and keep zorching.